And then someone mentioned that there is I live in Leicester in the United Kingdom. There is a devotee called Dr. Dhirubhai Gadia, a well-known devotee, obviously, in Swami's fold. Back in 2015, I said I never want to do a national role.
Yeah.
And I was very adamant. And then the more you say it, Swami says, oh, you keep saying what you want to say. I'll tell you what you're going to do. And he pushes me into the vice president role. Shivaya Nama Shiva, Shivaya Nama Shiva, Shivaya Nama Om Nama Shivaya, Shivaya Nama Shiva, Shivaya Nama Shiva, Shivaya Nama Shiva, Shivaya Nama Shiva, Shivaya Nama Om Nama Shivaya.
Om Sri Sai Ram. Today's guest is Brother Ketan from Leicester, UK. Ketan Bhai has known Swami since the early 1990s via late Dr. Dhirubhai Gadia, having had the opportunity to visit Swami annually. It was only in the early 2000s when he came across the Sathya Sai organization Sathya Sai Centre, and with Swami's blessings as well as guidance from the elders at the centre, got involved straight away. He has held various leadership roles at local, regional and national levels, including national president. He currently serves at the as the central coordinator supporting Europe Global Council Zone 6. Professionally, Ketan Bhai has a strong background in the pharmaceutical industry, starting from earning his Bachelor of Science degree in 1998. As a highly experienced medical science liaison, specializing in public health, he has a proven track record of success in educational initiatives and scientific engagement, particularly in enhancing vaccination awareness and uptake. He has previously served as a project director, leading clinical teams and working with stakeholders to improve patient experiences and achieve operational excellence, as well as numerous key account and sales specialist roles throughout the United Kingdom. Let's welcome Ketan Bhai. Sai Ram, Ketan Bhai, welcome to our podcast.
Sai Ram, Sujata. Lovely to be here on the call.
Thank you. First, we always like to know how devotees come into Swami's fold. So we briefly touched upon during your intro, but we would like to understand in detail, how did Swami pull you into his fold?
Yes, sure. No, it's great to be on the podcast, and I think just before that, the building up towards today, for me, it's been a great journey because it's kind of going back in memory lane.
Yes.
You know, sometimes we're so busy doing things. It's nice to know or try and pinpoint when I feel Swami came into my life. So for me, I was born in a family that were religious, spiritual, didn't know about Swami, but very big Shri Baba devotees and Durga devotees as well. So for me, rituals and spiritual practices have been there since birth. And from grandparents to my parents and so on and so forth. So, and then in the early 90s, one of my cousins, so my mum's brother's son, his eyesight was going quite poor. He's only 2 years older than me. So at the age of when he was about doing his GCSEs time, or the old O-levels time, his eyesight started going bad. And as worried parents, my mama, my mommy, so my uncle and auntie were taking him everywhere to see, look, what could it be? Some doctors said it might be MS. Some said they're not sure. Lots of questions were there, to be honest. They went to the US as well because they were told in US there's meant to be some very good, eye doctors and consultants, clinicians, but of no avail. And then someone mentioned that there is I live in Leicester in the United Kingdom. There is a devotee called Dr. Dhirubhai Gadia, a well-known devotee, obviously, in Swami's fold, who has passed away now. But at the time, he was living 10 minutes from our house, 15 minutes from our house. And he was doing some of the programs he used to do where he used to draw thousands and thousands of people to Swami's fold, like Laksarchans, the homams and everything. So we actually attended one of those events and got to speak to Dr. Gadia, and they started sharing experiences of Swami, who Swami is, what Swami has done, and what Swami can do as well, what he's capable of doing. Suddenly that inside that attraction or something pulled me, and it was kind of a strange one because my background is science. And scientists normally like to see
Yeah.
facts and
Reasons.
reasons behind things. This one was automatically, the fact was he was God for me. The reason was he was God for me. Automatically, I straight away became, or what I call a Swami's devotee, in terms of I connected with Swami. And so we started going to many events. And my cousin's eyes, he went to see Swami many times as well. So he was kind of our way to come to Swami, my cousin, and obviously Dr. Dhirubhai Gadia as well. And my sister was the very first one to go and see Swami at the age of 13.
Oh, wow.
And that's when Swami called her in for the interview and spoke to her, and and that's another experience that I'm sure she would share at some point as well. And then the following year we went as a family as well. Now the funny thing is, this was early 90s. And the funny thing is, got to know Swami in the early 90s. However, at home we had a small shrine, a very small shrine in our room. So there was my room where I stayed and my brother slept together. And we had a very small shrine within a cupboard. It's like a door opens and the shrine's within there. And in that shrine, we had a small double picture, which was on a jula, which was a Krishna's jula. But at the top, it was kind of fastened on the top. And I always noticed Shri Baba's picture on there, 100%, because we're Shri Baba devotees. Only when I heard about Swami in the 90s, I realized that Swami's picture was always there. It's just my eyes never fell on him, if that makes sense. So he's there every day, physically on the picture in my room, but never saw it until I realized who he was in the 90s. So that was a funny thing, where something's in front of you and yet you don't still see, And then the journey started quite quickly. Every year I would go. So first trip was with family. The four of us went, my sister, mom and dad, and my cousin came. And that, I thought that trip was like every trip would be in the future. Swami would come to us every day. He would take letters from us every day. We would touch his feet. We would kiss his feet every day. It was that kind of, we were only in the queue with everyone else. This was in Whitefield. So in Whitefield, as you may know, that people sat in blocks. So it doesn't matter what token you get, because if you happen to be token 15, you might be at the front of that block. So you still get close darshan. So Swami would take all the letters. And the last few days I was giving Swami blank pieces of paper because I had nothing else to write to him. I just wanted to interact or get close to him. And those days we could take sweets in a steel plate, and Swami would put his hand and throw them, and and just taking sweets for the sake of it, so he'd come to us. It was that kind of trip. And I remember the last day very clearly, because in the morning the general routine, what Swami used to do, obviously Swami has no general routines, but the general trend we saw in them 2 weeks was in the morning he would come out, give darshan, then he'd go into the portico on the stage, and bhajans would happen. In the afternoon he would come straight to the portico, and just bhajans would happen. But my sister still took sweets in. I had nothing to give, no letters, because I wasn't assuming Swami would come round. And the music started, and then normally the door opens on the stage, and you see the Swami is coming. And I think those days was like flute music and nice instrumental music. Darshan music, yes. Next thing we're thinking, the door's not opening and Swami's not coming, but the music's playing. And then slowly you see on the left-hand side, Swami is walking. He's coming. We're all getting kind of, Swami's coming. So the kind of the feeling. Everyone's heads turned towards the walkway where Swami comes. And Swami came and he gave darshan, and he came towards us. So I'm sitting next to my dad. I think we were in the first or second row. It might be in the second row. I had nothing to give to Swami physically. Every day I'd given everything, not expecting him to come. And all I had was, I had the green bhajanwala, the book, the bhajan book, the thick book that you could get from there. And we just bought it from the outside. We were staying outside. So I offered that to Swami because I had nothing to offer him physically, just so I could get something physical closeness. So he put his hand on the book. Right. And then my hand went straight on his hand on top, and holding his hand, and he's looking at me as if, like, you mad fellow, what are you doing? And then he went over to see, then he went back up to the portico and bhajans happened. And as he's leaving bhajans to go to the doors, he's looking, obviously we think he's looking at us, and I'm sure he's looking at each and every one of us. He's going and he's waving. And our hearts were like melting. You're sending us off. And so this was around 94 possibly. So I was 74. I was 19 years old. And this is my first trip to India. So the plan was 2 weeks to Prashanti, and then 2 weeks my parents said they'll take me to our home, which is Gujarat, get to see, where my grandparents were born and all that. And I remember getting into the taxi to the airport, and I was crying my eyes out,
Crying, yeah.
saying, "Please don't take me anywhere. Just keep us here." Just,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
I could, even now I'm saying it, my
Yeah.
hairs on my
Yeah.
arms
I
is,
can see. Yeah.
the feeling was, why am I leaving the place that is
Yes.
everything?
It's home.
Yes,
It's nothing different from home. Like, I don't know, home is also not as home as
correct.
when Swami is. Yes. Wow,
Correct.
it's so beautiful, right?
And I was thinking, and I remember pleading with my parents, please, let's not leave Prashanti. Like
Yes.
Whitefield, sorry, let's not leave
Mm.
Swami. I don't need to see Gujarat. I don't need to see Taj Mahal. I don't need to
Yeah.
see anything in the
Anything.
world.
Yeah. Well,
And
yeah.
my parents said, look, calm, calm down.
Uh,
We have to show you your roots as well. And obviously afterwards, it was the emotion, and it was the kind of pain
you
in
know,
my heart.
in Shirdi Satcharitra, they say, right, the first darshan is always like all your senses are satisfied. So
Yes,
that actually, you've experienced that only, we've been very fortunate to
correct.
experience that, isn't it?
I thought every single trip would be the same.
Yeah.
Swami would come to me every single trip. I'd kiss his feet. He'd wait for me to kiss his feet, and then he'd leave, take every letter. But in its own way, every trip has been very special, without a doubt. It's its own very experience. And from that year onwards, I went once or twice, till most of the time after that.
Mm.
So 30, 40 trips plus,
Mm.
being fortunate. A couple of times I went on my own as well.
Yes, I remember you mentioned.
Being a university student, yes, yeah. Being a university student, I went twice over the Christmas break,
Mm.
and spent many, many times, with Swami, and Swami would say to me, "Very happy, very happy, very happy." And again, my world would be all, I'd be, Swami, if I die now, I've made it. If my God is saying to me, "I'm very happy with you,"
Yeah.
then but obviously then challenges come after that as well, right?
Yes, exactly.
As we know, the university life, work life. So I went to Swami many years without realizing there was an organization.
Oh,
It was
okay.
only about 10 years later, the early
Okay.
2000s.
Oh, okay.
I went shopping in Leicester in a furniture shop.
Okay.
Okay, now I was living in a flat, I was working, and when I went to pay for the wood that I went to buy at the shop, the gentleman, the young man that that served me, my eyes went to his finger,
Mm.
and he had one of those rings that you get in the
Swami Prashanti. Yeah.
Prashanti, in
Yeah.
Chitravati Road, you get like the little rings for like
Yeah.
10 rupees,
Yes.
and it's Swami's picture on it, and straight away my eyes went to that. And I started talking to him for 10 minutes. We spoke,
Mm.
and he actually was the vice president of one of the centers
Uh,
in
in
Leicester.
Leicester. Yeah.
Yes. And that's where my journey with the organization started. And then very quickly, within 2 weeks, I became the youth coordinator. And that's how Swami, he plans it, however he plans
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. And he knew that he has a instrument in you. He had a
Well,
lot of
I don't know
plans for
about
you.
that. A rough piece of coal that he needs to work on, maybe,
Yeah.
and give me the
But
opportunity.
one thing you just mentioned, ring, right? Like that's why there's so many stories, but where Swami's merchandise connects. So I
Correct.
always I always say people to buy merchandise and use them, whether it's car sticker or something.
Correct.
At
Correct.
watch,
100%.
it really connects devotees, and
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So
And we think it's coincidence, but everything, if I look back now in my life,
nothing
you
is
know,
coincidence.
to have Swami's picture in my shrine without
Yeah.
even knowing, and then my cousin's eyesight going, then happened to meet Dr. Gadia, and then obviously the experience of Swami, and then meeting this customer service person in a furniture shop in Leicester,
Leicester.
and then 2 weeks later, I get called into a committee meeting, and they said, "Ketan, just come."
Come.
And I said, "What's the committee meeting?" And they go, "You don't worry about the committee meeting. You just come and just see what we do at the center." I goes, "Fine."
Yeah.
This is 2 weeks after. The meeting ended with, and now the Ketan is the youth coordinator for the center.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, I don't even know what that means. You're saying what you're saying is like a foreign language to me. I don't know
Yeah.
any other languages. So, but the journey started there. And I
Mm.
was very fortunate that the elders at the Nota Sai Center, which I go to,
Yeah.
were
They
my safety
mentored
net.
you very well.
100%. And they let me do anything I wanted to in Swami's name, to say, I want to do this workshop. I want to do this. I want to do. It's fine. Do it. It's Swami's work. You do it. Whatever you want to do, we'll be here for you. You tell us what help you need.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from the elders there, because, if I didn't, Swami obviously first, 100%,
Mm.
but the elders, they'd been through it many years themselves, and they supported me and still support me now when I see them.
Yeah.
we have a little joke about it. Remember that time, Ketan, when you came to the meeting 2 weeks after, and you left there as the youth coordinator, and your cousin left as the assistant spiritual coordinator, and we laugh about it now, and it's only Swami's
So,
grace.
no, but you didn't it didn't scare you off. That's very good, isn't it? People get
Correct,
scared of
correct.
responsibilities, but you weren't. So that was very
Surprising.
good, isn't it? That's very good.
That must be
And
Swami's
like you,
Leela as well.
and everything is coincidence, right? No, nothing
Yes,
is coincidence. It's
correct,
everything's
correct,
coincidence. That's
correct,
good.
correct.
Thank you. I don't know whether the second question I'm going to ask is already answered or not, but I'll still ask straight. Swami has touched our lives in many ways, right? Like, so he was Swami, and then he becomes my loving Swami.
Mm,
There's
mm.
there's always one experience that becomes more precious, and then it becomes like a defining moment. So has there been any other defining moments in your life, that has actually made like a my Sai and I moment?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when I look back, and then I was only saying something to a brother yesterday when I was with him. When I look back in life, and I think everyone, this goes for anyone and everyone,
Mm,
when we stop and think about what's happened today,
mm,
what happened yesterday, what happened this year, what happened in my life in total, we can see Swami's hand in just about everything, if
mm,
not
mm.
everything.
Yes.
So many occasions where I feel that Swami 100%, I felt Swami's love and Swami's protection, Swami's hand in it.
Mm,
And two couple, I know you mentioned one. There's two couple ones that are very close to my heart. One was in 2006. I was fortunate to be on my first Gram Seva trip
okay.
in Prashanti Nilayam.
Okay.
And obviously that's a very long
Mm,
experience and story. But to cut to the point you're asking, I was sitting in the interview room with Swami
mm,
in 2006, and he called the boys in for the interview. And the plan was, before we went into the interview, the plan was if Swami calls us,
mm.
we'll go in as an order where there's 19 of us boys. Whoever's never been into Swami's interview room,
So yeah.
there's four of us, and I was one of them. So
Mm,
we would go in first. And then everyone can come behind, and then we can all squeeze up and listen to Swami. But
mm.
the experience was, or the chance was given to the boys who had never been before.
Never. Okay.
So Swami went past in his chair. At the time he was in the chair and they're pushing Swami around. He went to the veranda and he told Ajit uncle that call the boys in now. So I remember very clearly, we stood up, we sat in the order we wanted to sit in the darshan line. We got up and we kind of jogged inside Corona Hall because Swami was calling us straight away in a single file. But we had, because the hall was so full, it was during Dasara time,
This
we had to run around the whole kind of perimeter to get there in a
Mm.
single file. By the time we got to the portico, Swami had gone into the interview room.
Yeah.
So we had to just sit on the portico. By the time we sat in portico, the order had gone.
Order gone. Okay.
The
Okay.
order that
Yeah.
we thought we should have
Yeah.
was with his own thing. And one of the brothers also had a letter that my wife had passed to his wife to pass on to me.
Yeah.
To say, give it to Ketan. And at the time, when he had to offer it to me, I said, well, actually, Raj, you keep the letter, it's fine. Then I
Yeah.
thought, hang on a sec, this might be my only opportunity to speak, Swami. So let me take the letter.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know what the future is going to hold in the next hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then suddenly the door opens and the signal comes, says, Swami is calling in the interview room.
Yeah.
The order was mixed up. One of the brothers, Amit, who got to the front of the door, Swami said to him, come in. And he said to Swami, no, Swami, the new boys are coming in. Swami said, no,
Wow.
no, come in, come in. And he said, no, Swami, let the new boys come in. We'll all come in. So Swami obviously was very happy, with
Yeah.
his, all this was happening and it's all kind of, as it is. We went in, and in the past, the sisters have gone in with 45 of them. There's only 19 of us, plus three other adults, and then Swami as well. Swami's chair was already at the back, and then Swami's wheelchair was in front of that chair.
Mm.
And then we sat. So I
Yeah.
sat cross-legged like we always do.
Yes.
My shins, Swami's toes were on my shins. We were that close to, I couldn't get closer to, to Swami.
Yeah.
I was conscious that my legs would be hurting within 5 minutes and I'd be moving and disturbing Swami. So I was so conscious not to do that.
Yeah.
But the defining moment for me was Swami was asking lots of questions, and we were prepared for, if Swami asks you what your name is, what the meaning is, and what do you work, and don't do abbreviations. Don't say I'm from UK, Swami. I'm from United Kingdom.
Kingdom.
If you're
Okay.
in computers, don't say IT, Swami. Say information technology. You don't do abbreviations with Swami, even with names as well. So we were very clear. We've been trained for that moment. If it happens, we should be ready. So Swami is asking lots of questions. And the beauty of it was Swami would ask a brother on my side here, and he'd look at me and say, "That's right, isn't it?" I say, "Yes, Swami, that's right." Constantly, the connection was there. And
Yeah.
then when he was
Wow.
asking me questions and I didn't understand, when he was asking me about science and he said to me, "What is science?" And I'm thinking, Swami, are you asking me about science or science and all this kind, all these things in my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Swami says, "You don't understand, do you?" And I said, "No, Swami." And he started laughing. Then he's pretending to hit me and it's constant laughing.
Yeah.
But Swami was showing me the love of a mother.
Mm.
The defining moment for me was Swami says it's 1,000 mothers' love, and we don't even understand one mother's love, right?
Love.
Swami says,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
fully don't understand my mother's love that she gives me now still.
Yeah.
I think I do for a moment, and then I forget. That's
Then
how
forget it.
my mind is,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
how I work.
Very limited. We are in limited
Very,
capacity.
very limited. And Swami was pouring his love.
Mm.
And then Suranti said to Swami, "Swami, they're good boys." And Swami said, "They're not good boys, they're God boys. They're my boys." Swami said,
Right.
touching his heart. And even now, I'm
Yeah.
feeling as if I'm sitting with him in the
Yes.
interview. And then Swami explains how do you spell good, G-O-O-D, get rid of one O, which is the ego,
Good.
becomes God, becomes my boys.
Yeah.
So that's the defining moment as a mother.
Yeah.
Defining moment as a father, within that split second, he says, when you're with me here, you're very good boys. Yeah. When you leave the ashram, not so good. When you go to London, you eat things you shouldn't eat, drink things you shouldn't drink, see things, watch things you shouldn't watch. And then he pointed to one of the brothers. Fortunately, it wasn't me. One of the brothers. He said, "And you are worst of all."
Oh.
And Swami's eyes were big. His teeth were grinding at the time, and he was a fierce. So, like we say, Shiva roop of
Yeah.
Swami.
Yeah.
I was scared like anything. I was sitting there with my legs, right, and his feet
Yeah.
were on my legs, and only for a split second. And Swami's, and I'm looking at him, and my hands are everyone's hands are folded by that time because he'd gone to the father kind of figure.
Mm.
Looks at me and then starts smiling again, and I think, Swami, he's okay.
But looking back on this incident, I mean, I'm just my first thought, when you said Swami said you are the worst and everybody was scared. But, now the Swami is not there. I would, I feel students and people who got scolded by Swami in physical form, it's a blessing, right? I would love Swami to correct me now. Because now when Swami corrects me through someone,
Yes,
Swami still corrects us.
correct, of course.
Swami doesn't stop correcting us, but so much ego. Like if Swami were to come and correct me, I will accept it.
Yes,
but
yes,
but when he corrects me through an instrument, our ego comes in. Who's he to correct me, right? Or
yes,
who's she
yes.
to correct me?
No, no, you're right. You're right. And the other side to it, I mean, at the time, obviously, you're going through all the emotions of what's happened. And at the other, after I like a light bulb moment kind you get, you realize that
Yes.
that message was for each and everyone, 100%, without a doubt. But also that Swami reassured me at the time, this was 2006, so 5 years before Swami took Masamadhi, right? He reassured me and everyone as well that I'm always with you.
Mm,
You might be in London, you might be in Bangalore, you might be in Puttaparthi, you might be anywhere, France, wherever you
mm,
may be. I'm with you. I'm
mm.
watching you. Yeah. I'm seeing all the good things you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm also seeing all the things you shouldn't be doing.
Mm,
I've made it very clear to you. He's a God that makes it, explains the most
mm.
complicated things
In this,
in the most simple and practical
practical
way.
way. Yeah.
Yes.
And how,
Yes.
how often do you remember this experience? How often in your life have you experienced? Because it's been 20 years almost, right?
Yeah, yes. I mean, in 20 years nearly. Um, you get caught up in life, right? Or I get caught up in life.
I'm just
So tomorrow I'll get busy with something and I'll forget. And sometimes only when you stop and think about it, or obviously, like for me today is a great opportunity because I can share and I
yeah,
can relive those moments.
relive this moment
My
exactly.
memory, and so my memory is very, very bad. But when I remember Swami stuff like this,
Yeah.
and not just my experience, when at the center, when a devotee shares experience,
Mm.
Swami is such a kind God that you feel that you were
Yeah.
there. When
Compassion.
you read Loving God and Kasturiji's writing about
Yeah.
pulling Swami's hair, I honestly feel I was standing next to Kasturiji when he's pulling Swami's hair to see will it come out and that.
Mm.
Because that's the love of Swami, right?
Yeah.
Whether my kids have never seen Swami physically. You know, when my wife was expecting, and Swami said for all the boys to come back to Gram Sabha and bring their families. In between that time, my daughter was born. Obviously, when we went for my fourth Gram Sabha, Swami took my samadhi already. But this still, when we share these stories with children, with new devotees, even with devotees never been to Swami,
Wow.
you feel that you're
So
you're there.
so these videos are going to be there for posterity, right? Like everybody, so
Correct.
it's very
Which is
important.
great,
Which is
because
great.
to capture those moments, once we've all gone that have seen Swami, it's always going to be these kind of, experiences where you can look back. Swami's discourses you can watch, right, on Media Center and YouTube and everything, for generations and
generations to come. Yes, I think we have a good transition period where we had really good media as well, right?
Correct.
Where we could capture everything.
Yes.
So, Ketan bhai, so Swami's teachings are, very simple but not so easy to practice, right?
Yes.
So, what is one teaching you find it hard to practice?
For me, there's many, without a doubt. And every day is as we call it, every day is a school day. You're trying to learn. But one teaching is, I remember there was a story about a devotee, and Swami took this devotee to the balcony and said, "Look, ask me whatever you want to ask me." And they were surprised because this was 7 a.m. They weren't expecting Swami to come to their room and call them out. And they said, "Swami, how can I be the best devotee, to you? How can I be that?" And Swami talks about equanimity, right? So in terms of when something's happening very good in your life, treat it in a nice, calm way. When something's not happening, and we all go through those kind of ups and downs, like peaks and troughs, treat it in the same way. And the example that Swami gave at the time, and this is the bit I struggle with every single day, I'm struggling with this one, is Swami says that when I give you the red carpet and I look after you and everything, you are very happy. And when I say to you, Sister Sujata, go away and I'm not going to talk to you, treat it in the same way.
Yeah.
Right? And your first thought always should be, this is Swami's will. Swami knows best for me. Whatever's happening in my life now, whether I've won the lottery or I've got the best job or I've got a beautiful family or a car or a nice house, this is Swami's will. It's not me, it's Swami's will. It's not my ego. And when I lose everything or lose my job or lose, whatever it is, lose my money or whatever it is, in the same way, it should be that. Now, the bit I struggle with is, my first thought is, Swami, why is this happening to me? Yeah. Why is my job gone? Why is it that I don't get to sing today, for example? And then my second thought is, Swami, I know this is right for me at this moment in time. You might not be looking at me, but you're protecting me. You might not be speaking to me, or I might not see you physically, but you love me, and this is the right thing for me. So my struggle at the moment, for a long time, but the struggle I'm trying to get, or the kind of hurdle or the place I'm trying to get to is where every incident in my life is Swami's will, and I take it as his prasadam.
Like how Kasturi ji.
Yes.
He his life was full of only struggles, isn't it? Like
correct.
He never had easy day any day.
Yes. And the other part to it is, one thing that I saw Swami, at a close level, was the love he had for every single person. People, I thought that, Swami, why would you want to give that person that much love? Or why would you want to speak to that person when I know, I know, obviously I call this I know, is that's what they do to me or to other people. And Swami loved everyone equally and brings joy to everyone. So my motto for me personally for the last few years is to bring happiness. To me, I should be happy in what I do, and that's because Swami is in my life, but also try and bring happiness to other people as well.
So how are you trying to now practice this equanimity? Like, have you reached out to Swami, or is there any constant reminders?
For me, it's constant conversations with him, constant reminders to say, Ketan, you silly fool, right? He's given you this. It's his job. My scenario at the moment is a job scenario, right? So it's his work. And when I don't get the job that I think I'm going to get, I had an interview recently and I got the job and I'm halfway through training and the job's taken back from me. Literally halfway. And then I realized, but at the time I laughed and everyone looked at me saying, why are you laughing? I go, this is my journey with Swami. He's reminding me, Ketan, I have your back. I will not let you fall.
Yeah.
You know, the world might think you're falling, but
Yeah.
I'm here. You will not,
Yeah.
you're my boy. Remember, he said,
he's my
right?
boy, God's boys.
God's
Yes.
boys, my boys. And he
Yeah.
patted his chest to say, I'm his boy. Now,
Yeah.
what more do I need
Yes. Yeah.
reassurance to
Yes.
say
Yeah.
that whether my job takes me 1 day to get, 1 week to get, 1 month to get, 1 year to get, or never get a job at the end of the thing,
Yeah.
my journey is, and my prayer to Swami is, don't let me let go of your lotus feet. You'll never let go of me. I know that because that's God. That's his love. But don't make me doubt or forget.
Yeah.
My first thought should be, this is Swami's will. This is Swami's prasadam. Swami
Yes.
is happy with me and I'm happy. Job, no job, 1 car, 2 cars, no car, whatever that is. If I'm with him, then
Yeah.
that's my
That's
constant
that's
reminder.
yeah. And as I don't know whether it's applicable here or not, but Shri Baba used to always say, right, like sufferings, sufferings makes a human being closer to Swami, right? Like
Correct.
if you don't have
Correct.
suffering, you're going to be oblivious. We are like that, I
Yes.
guess.
Correct. And I remember in the early 2000s, we went to Swami on a pilgrimage. Mainly youth, what students took us, but mainly youth trip from the Midlands, from the UK, and the trip was Sai Nugra, and the idea was about the thought was about the closer you are to Swami, the easier you get burnt. Because obviously, and the more Swami gives to you, the more he expects from you as well.
Yes.
And these are the common things that were coming all the time, and learnings and teachings and that kind of stuff as well. So you're right; they're part and parcel of it.
Yeah.
I do have a dilemma. I hear a lot of people say that Swami tests,
Yeah.
and Swami tests, and in my deepest heart, I feel Swami can never test me. Because why would Swami test me? It's
Yeah.
me and my karma that I have to go through. It's just he makes my journey smoother.
Yeah.
He makes my fall. I have to fall, right? Like part of my life and my journey, I have to fall. However, he holds my hand, so when I do fall, it doesn't hurt as
It
much.
hurt me. And like I like to believe that whatever we're going through is a subset of what we were supposed to go through, but because of
100%.
Swami, it has shrunk a little
Yes,
bit.
correct.
So
A
what we are
lot.
going through is a shrunken version of a bigger problem that
Correct.
you could have gone through without Swami, and I
100%.
believe that very strongly. That
Yes.
so and it brings us to the next question very nicely. You've got like lovely experiences with Swami, Pada Namaskar, and every interview. And what do you miss about Swami not being physically present today?
I miss lots of stuff about Swami. I know everyone says we should go from
No, not me. I'm still grieving.
No, I know, yeah. People say generally form to formless and that. The biggest bit I miss
Yeah.
is, and I'll give you an example. So, as you know, in July, in about 36 days or so, we're going to Prashanti
Prashanti.
Nilayam as our zone offering, and
Zone 6.
Zone 6 offering, of about nearly 500 people. Some have never been before. Some are kind of seasoned travelers to Prashanti. But the bit I miss the most is the build up to any pilgrimage or whether it's me on my own or a family or a group like this is, if I try even harder, if I do this, I do that, there's a slim chance Swami might even look towards me.
Yeah.
When the music comes on and my head will turn, for that, before the music comes on, I am yawning. I am tired. I am thinking about, I don't know, what's happening at home, what's happening at the football, what am I going to have for breakfast after? Which canteen will have the shortest queue? So I'll run to that. All them kind of things are coming. The music starts.
So relative.
Seriously, the music starts and it's like kind of a switch inside me. My head, wherever I'm sitting in the hall, my head will turn. It's usually that way.
Yes.
Yeah, am I right? So I will turn. My hands will fold automatically, as if my body knows my hands have to fold. And the feeling is that, will Swami come? Will he come past me? And those days when he used to have the red carpet used to be rolled out before, and the flute, as you said, the darshan music used to come on, and even after that, or the Vedam standing starts. You know, we know that there's a phone call that happens behind in the Monday that Swami is leaving. Monday, all this stuff in your head's happening, and the thought that I may, I will see Swami today. Because even in the last few years, Swami didn't come out every single day, right? Or every single darshan. Even those days you used to feel, will Swami come out? Will he not come out?
Yes,
Will he look at me?
last few years were, Swami was preparing us basically.
Yeah. And tough times, but still at the time in my head, I'm not thinking Swami's going to go, like we all,
Yeah.
So what I miss is the kind of hope to say, will he see me? Will he look at me? Once he took the letter from me in the 2009, which was the last pilgrimage I was on at the time. Swami took my letter. He went to the portico, and what does he do? He opens my letter. He starts reading my letter. I'm sitting on the front row on the floor, and he's reading and I know he knows what everything is, and I don't remember what my prayer was at the time, but he's physically at that level looking at my letter. The times when I gave him empty sheets of paper and he took it. In the interview room when I was thinking, can I massage his feet or not? How do I ask him when I'm singing a song in the group song to him, and can I massage? Because I remember one of the boys in 2004 saying, well, my dad used to massage Swami's feet, and because he was a student, and that was a daily routine for them. That thought came in my mind in 2006 during the songs we're singing. Now we sang badly, right? But Swami still, as God does, sat through them, and I'm looking at him, looking up because he's there, and in his head is up there, and I'm thinking, Swami, can I touch your feet or not? I put my hands there, and he's laughing at me. I don't know what laughter means, yes or no, so I take it back. Twice, third time I did it, and I started massaging his feet, and so those things of, will it happen again? Will he take my letter again? Will he say to me, very happy? Will he will I see that orange robe?
That just loving glance.
Yes,
that's
that hope is that's the certain bit, in life. The things, Swami says you're born and you die at the certain things. At the moment, it feels like I'm not going to see Swami ever again physically. So that's in the heart.
That's always, and then and to me that empty chair, when you see there, it just, I don't know, it just feels okay. Swami is going to come and sit one, and I'm going to see his darshan.
Yes,
it's really hard. Of course, we were very fortunate generation to have had. Even if I can say, like, I didn't have, like, the Pada Namaskar and all those things, but the darshan itself, the close darshan, just looking at Swami doing mini adhyasta sometimes.
Correct.
Those things.
Yeah, I remember once actually I went. And I'm going slightly off.
So no.
Once I was in, the Christmas time, I went when I was a student. I had a month off. So I went to Prashanti, and I met, as I went by myself, I met a few of the other young boys from different countries, and two of the Australian brothers were there. And when they were in the interview room, Swami gave one of the brothers a ring. Now, we'd already had a conversation before, me and the boy, to say he wants a diamond ring from Swami and nothing else. Doesn't want any other ring. He wants a diamond ring. Swami gave him a silver ring with Shri Baba's carving on the front. So it looked to be like this one, but the Shri Baba's carving. He took it as obviously Swami's prasadam. His heart wasn't there, because he didn't want that, And so he came out of the interview, and we both went to the wish fulfilling tree at the top. And in those days, you could sit on the rock above the tree. So you could see the whole of Puttapati and the thing. He's telling me this. And then I'm saying to him, but Swami knows everything, right? Swami knows what you like, what you don't like. Why are you worried? These boys, Darshan, Swami goes past them. Swami's gone 10, 15 rows that way. They stand up and they say, Swami, I'm going. Swami ignores them. He goes, Swami, I'm going. Swami goes, where are you going? He goes, interview room. Swami goes, go. So they'd go in the interview room. That's the kind of relationship they had. In the afternoon, Swami calls them back, the family again. Swami says, you've been telling your friend you don't like this ring. When he told me this, my heart melted. Swami, you're not even calling me, you're still talking about me.
Talking about me, yes.
Those things, when obviously Swami comes in our dreams, Swami tells you, Swami even said in 2007 at the youth conference, that I think 7 seconds or 11 seconds, you pray to me intensely and I will stand in front of you. Swami's giving us that reassurance. I'm not nowhere near ready for that. So Swami will come at some, like from that side, but that's why I miss the physical, the hope of physical closeness.
No, absolutely. There's no parallel experience.
Correct,
So there's
correct,
no parallel experience. We know he's still here.
yes,
He's a silent listener,
correct,
silent viewer, but yeah,
correct. When you have the taste, it's difficult, isn't it? Even if that's the
exactly,
thing, I think that's the hard
exactly,
bit.
exactly. So Ketan, you briefly mentioned also that the number of roles you had taken in organization, but could you just elaborate on that? Like how many roles and have you taken inside organization? I know you started with youth, young
Youth
adult.
coordinator, correct. Center youth coordinator within 2 weeks of knowing what the organization, or not knowing, just being around the organization. And then naturally the progression went to regional youth coordinator, which was lovely because
Yeah,
it was kind of, for me, it was a natural, started doing, and then we
progression.
had the Sainugra trip, and then the following trips, I was a youth coordinator there. And that's time Dubai was the national youth coordinator. So that's my
Yeah,
first kind of, from an organization point of view, interactions with
with
Dubai
Shivai.
and
Okay.
many of
Oh,
the
he's
other,
known you from since then. Okay.
correct, yeah, for the other youth coordinator. And then I was asked to do the vice president role for the region. So the United Kingdom split up in 8 regions, and
Mm,
region 4 is the Midlands, so the central part of
yeah.
the United Kingdom. And I was the vice president there. And then I became the president for region 4
Mm.
for 4 years. And then we had a role, part of the service wing. I was a national disaster relief coordinator
Oh,
at the
okay.
time. So it was something very new for us. I know in India it's a big thing from a
Mm,
disaster and a
yeah.
disaster teams and everything. And quickly worked with the service teams and the national council and
Mm.
also the regional teams. And because I got to work from the grassroots level of
Grassroots
center
level.
coordinator regional, got to know many people obviously.
Very
So
good.
it was a nice role from that side and worked on different projects like floods and fire
Mm.
support and that kind of stuff. And then in 2015, we went as a United Kingdom group for
Yeah.
Christmas. And at the
Okay.
time, I was asked to do national service coordinator, and something in my heart said, "Look, not for
Yeah.
me," and I turned it down from that side.
Mm.
And then about a year later, I became Shitubai asked me to become the vice president, national
Okay.
vice president, when he was doing the second term for his national president
National
role.
president. Okay.
Yes, yes, and then became the national president
Okay.
after that, which was, I know we talked about this defining moments. There was another
Yeah.
defining moment within that kind of role. There's plenty of defining moments, right? When you think about Swami in your life,
Yes.
but it was a strange one because I started the national president role in January,
And in
and
March.
March, COVID, our friend
I
COVID
know.
came.
I was part of your team, right? I was
Correct, 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 correct.
Birmingham
Yes.
Central president. So
Yes, yes.
yeah.
So it was a strange. So back in 2015, I said I never want to do a national role,
Yeah.
and I was very adamant. And then the more you say it, the more you say it. Swami says, "Oh, you keep saying what you want to say. I'll tell you what you're going to do." And he pushes
Yeah.
me into
Yeah.
the vice president role, and then the national president role. And yeah, as in within 3 months, closed the whole country down. So the only president to close the country down within 3 months of, but
Yeah.
obviously, and that was a big defining moment because,
Yes. Yeah.
as we know, I mean, I joke about it now, but I felt Swami's hand in all throughout that
Mm.
time of not knowing what's happening in the world. We saw obviously at the time,
Yeah.
those people that were affected in so many ways, lives past, financial
Mm.
issues. Even lots of people, devotees obviously, but community were stuck at home. So it brought us as a national council so close together,
Yes.
and the country close together as well. And we talked about media, social media. We talked about technology earlier in this call, and that's where the timing was that Swami was getting to everyone's home.
Yes.
I remember Dr. Gadia used to tell us, Dr. Gadia used to tell us a long time, many years ago, that Swami would say that at one point, I will be in everyone's home. I
Yeah.
will, at
Yeah.
one very moment, everyone will see me, everyone will hear me, all that kind of stuff. And in its own way, COVID became that because
Yeah. Like,
Swami went to everyone. We could only go to Swami at the centers or the groups
yeah.
or events and that. It was that time when everyone was at home, except for the ones that had to work and go on the
Yeah.
road. And Swami came to them. So
Yeah.
for me, that was another massive defining for all of us,
And
but especially
and I think as a national president, I mean, you redefined the way we did functions, right? Whether it was Shivratri, Laksharchana, everything we did
right,
online,
right. Yeah,
and you
yes,
led
yes.
all that projects, events.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is, you talked about psi incidents earlier and coincidence incidents. I mean, Swami put every single person in the team that we're all together, the right people at the right time,
Mm.
for that. Like any time, even now, if you look at which team it is, it's only Swami that picks and chooses. We think that, oh, I will
Yeah.
become this, or
Yeah.
I will become that,
Yeah.
that kind of.
No.
But Swami handpicked every single person, so the team became. It wasn't even a team; it was a family, and it's still a family.
Yes.
When we see each other, the love is still there. We
Uh,
still talk about the time when we, do you remember when everything turned on its head, where we had to, what do we do now? And we had to kind of
yeah.
learn. It's like kind of learning to walk again, or
Yes.
learning to
Absolutely.
drive again, or learning that kind of. So a massive defining moment. And
Yeah.
then obviously the we had brother Phil there, and the things were changing as. So then
Yeah.
became the central coordinator, and now working obviously with the zone team
Yeah.
for Zone 6, and doing Swami's work. But I think for me, someone's asking me the other day about just roles and everything. It's just an opportunity to serve
Yeah.
and an opportunity for us to get closer to Swami. At
Yes.
the moment.
Actually, you're stepping into my next question.
Oh, sorry.
No. So, like you just mentioned, whether it is namasmaranam or service, the purpose is for us to transform and bring us closer to divinity, right? Like you just
100%.
mentioned. So
100%.
what is once, has been your like transformation thing for you? Like what transformed you from any service project you can think of?
Yeah, yeah. There's two. There's two actually. One is a very quick story
Yeah.
because once I start talking,
No, please go ahead. Yeah.
so in the interview, just at the end of the interview, so Swami had spent 45 minutes with us, and as Swami does, we were talking about it yesterday that Swami used to sit on his throne, and people used to sing, do rhythm, dramas,
Yeah.
left every single day for 60, 65 years, and he smiled and he gave us full attention. Whoever was doing it, and I couldn't even do that for one day. If I had to sit there and everyone comes to me and I have to watch everyone, I would be thinking about what's for dinner, as I said. Food comes in my conversation quite a
Should
bit.
I go to Western canteen?
Correct. What is it today? Saturday. Oh, Saturday they do pizzas and they do chocolate cake. I still remember from the 90s, this is what Swami used to do from there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the interview, Swami is getting ready to leave. And we remembered that we had a photo album of service activities that the youth and the elders did in Leicester in thing. So we turned the book around, and Brother Amit was with me, the one who's standing at the door telling Swami, let the new boys come in. And because we're both regional youth coordinator and assistant regional youth coordinator, we went through each page, and Swami looked through each page and looked at all the activities.
Yeah.
And Swami looked at everything, and he looked, and we said, Swami, this is this. Swami said, lots of activities, but no love. Thunderbolt in my. Now, obviously, there's a clear message. We can do lots of activities, we can do lots of tasks, but is the love there? So that was one big defining moment. How do I bring love into anything?
So
and
Swami
everything I
could
do?
see through that. Oh.
Correct. Now, it might have been one person, like he said before, you are the worst of all, in the same way. For me, the message was clearly, Ketan, am I doing something because it's just a routine? Am I doing the homeless every 2 weeks because, it's a thing. I make the food, I go, I give up. Am I giving Swami's love, or is it just, just giving? And, the reason behind it, the why am I doing this?
Yes.
And the big defining one was 8 years ago, when I was a part of the disaster relief team. In London, I had a work meeting and I was staying over, and it was awards. So we'd taken many of the team to celebrate for work and stayed over, and we went for dinner, and we had hotels in London. The next morning, when I woke up in my hotel room, put the TV on, and the news was about the Grenfell fire, which was a fire in 8 years
I
ago
remember.
in the
In
tower
London.
blocks in London.
Yeah.
And many people obviously died, and that morning I had to come back to Leicester. We would call the train because it's central London, but the delays in everything was there. Now, as a disaster relief coordinator, I worked quite closely, obviously, with the National Council, but Brother Kumi, who was the National Service Coordinator at the time. Now, we'd obviously been on many trips with Swami. He was actually very fortunate because the Gram Sabha I went in 2006, he wasn't meant to be a part of it. And about a month before we left to go to Prashanti, Swami came in his dream and said, you come on this group. He told Ajit uncle at the time, Swami's coming in my dream. This is what Swami is saying. Uncle said very clearly, you can come with us. You're not part of the group until Swami physically says yes. Because Swami determines who goes on these trips, what every single detail Swami would look after. Even the saris that were given to the elders in the villages, Swami would have a spread of saris. He would choose, he'd touch the material and choose, this is soft, this is too hard for them, these are the right colors. these are the dhotis, the food. He would inspect everything. So his attention to detail, as you I'm sure know,
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
next to nothing. So I was working with Brother Kumi, and this fire happened, and it was this was back in June, 8 years ago, so 2017. Very quickly, with the lessons that Swami had taught us and everything we did, we quickly got some teams together. Now, from that week, we actually came back to London that day or the next day to meet the
Okay.
councillors of that local community of London. And I remember this vividly, that we went to the storage place, the council offices where they stored blankets and everything there. Whilst we were in there, the London riots started
Yeah.
outside the door.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
wanted to get into the building because they blamed
Yeah.
the councillors for the faulty
Faulty building of
building work
yeah.
and everything, of the thing. So obviously the initial emotions of local communities were doing that. We had to switch the lights off. This was 7 o'clock in the evening. It was a bright day because it was June. We had to switch the lights off and sit quietly. And the police were outside. We were told very clearly, don't move, sit in the dark, don't make a noise. If they realize people are inside, they will break in. Because at the time, the emotions were obviously very
high.
Yeah. So we sat for about an hour and a half quiet in the thing, and then we obviously left to come back. But from that weekend onwards, every single weekend till Christmas, the organization, Swami's organization, groups of people came from throughout the UK. 10, 15 10, 15 people every single weekend came to help. And the help was things like working in the community centers, which were treated basically where people sleep. So it was a full sports hall with sleeping bags were put down, food stalls. We would help sort things out, clean up areas, try and help logistics. And it's only Swami's hand was there because the organizations was the Red Cross. Now, Red Cross, obviously, worldwide is very known. So they ran the whole project.
Yeah.
Marks and Spencer's, because they provided all the delivery of the trucks, the delivery lorries and food items, and Swami's organization. The three organizations, daily we would have calls to say, what is the steps today? What do we do next? What's the next? Every single day, Brother Kumi and myself or one of us would be on the call. And we'd find out, and you see, it was like Gram Seva in action as such.
Gram Seva in action. It is absolutely Gram Seva.
100%. The networking, the working together, working with the community. And I remember when it all finished, all the work was finished, and we continued, because what happens in anywhere around the world, I'm sure, but definitely in the UK, when the media's on a disaster, the whole world wants to help. As soon as the media turns to the next, because it's disaster after disaster, suddenly it's human nature, I think.
Human nature,
the level of support goes down generally, because that's you kind of think, okay, let's go and help the next area, let's go and help the next year, and that kind of, but we continued all the way to Christmas. I think it was December time as well. And I remember I was on, when it all finished, and I was on holiday at the time with the family, and Brother Kumi called me, and he knew I was on holiday because obviously we were together. He said, Ketan, when you come back, you fly back on the Saturday or Sunday. What do you do on Monday or Tuesday, whatever it was? I goes, I'm back at work. He goes, no, you have to come down to London. And I goes, well, look, I'm at work. He goes, look, I'm telling you as a brother, come down to London. It's very important. I can't tell you much at the moment because when you come back, we'll talk properly. I goes, fine. So I came back. I told my boss this, I've just come back from holiday. I just need one more day to go because of Grenfell work and everything. And at the time, we'd been told that the royal family are coming, and they wanted to meet the seniors. Of obviously Red Cross, so obviously were there, and Marks and Spencer's and the organization. And so Brother Kumi and myself and one or two devotees we invited as well. And I remember that when we were at the warehouse, we were there, we just saw an entourage of black cars, Range Rovers with the blacked out windows. You could see, and we were told very clearly, it was like, in some ways, like when you go to India, this is how you behave in Swami. This is how you have to behave with royalty, because it's a different, for me, I knew nothing about this. You can't put your hand out to handshake, for example, unless they do. You don't talk to them until they talk to you. All that, it means common sense to me now. At the time, I didn't know anything. I know. And
it's not common knowledge, actually. It's not a common knowledge. Not many people know this.
Yeah, probably. I thought I was just being me. Like Swami used to ask me, nothing, do you? And I go, no, Swami, I don't nothing. In the same way like this. I didn't know. And then they went
did you get audience with Queen then?
So Prince Harry came, and then he came up to us, spoke to us, and he was very impressed because we had a good opportunity to share that we had over 350 devotees and non-devotees every single weekend dedicate themselves. People come from Scotland to London and down Cornwall, and so all the 8 regions were coming, for example, and we got to talk to them about Swami and the values, and what the children do with the Balvikas and the youth, and so it was a couple of minutes, but it's our way of sharing Swami's love with him.
I mean, this is an example of, Swami used to say, my life is my message. But then later on, he said, your life is my message.
Yes,
The
yes,
way you
correct.
conduct yourself in society.
Correct. And Swami said, obviously, in 2006, that I'm watching everything, right? So he's watching everything, he's guiding everything, and every part of our life. He's the one that's the, the director, as he used to say, right? And we're the actors, and we're the puppets, and that journey will continue as long as it continues. And then we'll do the best we can, and then we move on.
Yes, absolutely. That's a really, really inspiring story. And I think, you should really thank Swami for giving you such a beautiful opportunity. This is like, it's not like we want another disaster, but I'm just saying you got an opportunity to be a part of such a beautiful service project. Yeah.
Yes. And he used to say all the time, right? Community, in 2004, when he spoke to the sisters, he said, go into the community, service in the community. And they said, but Swami, we're from, the United Kingdom. And should we come and serve in India and Africa? Because we do that automatically, right? Because for us, obviously, our roots are there as well. My parents are from East Africa, my grandparents from India. And Swami said, you can do that, of course. But also there's lots of service, the need in where you are as well. We have, obviously, as you know, we work lots with food banks, for example, quite a lot with food banks, community hubs here.
Especially during COVID, right? Like I remember there was a video where one of the food banks, they recorded a video for Leicester and said that, we shamelessly bring our empty vans to the to this thing. So that was really beautiful testimony to the service that Leicester Sai Centre does. Yeah.
Definitely.
So now coming to the fun rapid fire section. Are you ready?
Okay, come on.
Okay. So life is a challenge, meet it. Life is a dream, realize it. Life is a game, play it. Life is love, enjoy it. So which one of the above you relate to the most?
Life is a love, enjoy. Yeah.
Life is
For
a
me,
love.
it's since I got older, I realized that happiness is the key. For me, this is.
Yes.
And enjoying life, whatever, we talked about earlier, whatever pitfalls or whatever, even the highs as well, because it's very easy for my ego to say, it's me who's doing this. It's me who's the youth coordinator. It's me who's the national president. It's very quickly Swami takes it as well, right away as well. So enjoy the moment and give everyone the opportunity to enjoy the moment as well.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. What will be your advice to young Ketan today? You are still young, by the way.
No.
Younger Ketan.
Younger. Is to make the most of every opportunity. We have to have a balance in life, and one thing, because I'm at the age now, right, I've done the youth wing, even though some people say to me, Ketan, why are you still linked to the youth? And my instant reaction is, well, so I'm going to with all youth, because that gets me into do the youth bit. I get to do with the elderly bit. We had an event recently called My Sai and I, and from a Leicester point of view, this was. Now, 2 years ago, the event was done where it was for the youth. The event was. This time it was for the elders, but the youth did everything. So, so from cooking, the first time youth did all the cooking, the setup, the games, youth did everything, but it was for our elders. And we had a good 120 elders come, and we had a good 70 youth that never come to some of these things, but they came for this, and at that time, I was fortunate because I could have registered for both. Because I was linked to the youth, I could register for the youth, and I could link to the elders. So from my point of view, is to make the most of the opportunity. Where you get a chance, take it, because and live as if, I remember when the time when we were waiting for Swami to call us in for the interview, the message was clear that, live, what's the message? That when you see Swami, live as you see, as if you've seen him for the first time, and see as you've seen him for the last time. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. In the same way, from a service project or whatever we do, if I'm going to sing a bhajan, sing as if it's my first and last time. If I get another opportunity, fantastic, but put full heart into it and make that opportunity happen.
Live in the moment.
Live in the moment. Yes.
And what is your daily sadhana, one daily sadhana that you never miss?
So for me, it's constantly trying to listen something related to Swami, whether it's discourses, talks, bhajans, music as a reminder. Something we're doing locally for the 100th birthday is we have an uncle, more uncle, who's kind of heading the whole personal sadhana kind of offering to Swami. And there's
Okay.
so many different offerings. And one of the offerings is, and I'm very bad at this one, but I'm trying this one is when you're eating, not to watch TV, not to listen to radio, not to be on my phone. So we've, at the moment, for the last 2 months, maybe a bit longer, we've banned TV at home
Oh, very good.
whilst we're eating.
While eating, yeah.
While eating. But what we do is that we do allow watching, if we're watching, like at the moment, we've got this Shri Baba's story from birth to, the full story. So if we're watching something like that, then we're okay because our mind is on good things still while we're eating. And but that was a big struggle for me because I'd convinced myself first, and then I'd lived that bit, and then convinced the rest of the family. But so these are the different kind of 8 sadhanas that we're doing. So, but for me, it's constant reminder in whichever way. So if I like to ride the bike now because the weather's been good. So I'll put on my one headphone and put on a talk or an experience or discourse or just bhajans or, anything, just because that moment is with Sai, sometimes, we talk about living, you mentioned living in the moment. At this very moment in time, lots of things are happening in this world outside this room that I'm in. I have no control of that, right? The control is live this moment. And even going back to the interview just very quickly, during the interview, about 25 minutes into the interview, I suddenly had a thought, Swami, is this real?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I sitting in the interview room with you or is it a dream?
Wow.
And I looked up as if my thought was happening, and only Swami's grace within that split second. I said, Ketan, don't be silly. You're in Swami. With Swami, sorry.
Yes.
Otherwise, I would have even lost that. You can be that close to Swami and not see. His Swami's talk about the shop vendors on the outside. For all their lives, generations have lived there, but sometimes don't realize how close you are to Swami, right?
Not physical closeness is enough. Exactly. Correct. Yes. Exactly.
Even me in the interview room with Swami. His feet on my shins all the time, and I'm still not realizing, am I really here or not? I'm still doubting that one split second happened. So live in the moment.
So next question is, do you prefer speaking to Swami or writing to Swami? Now that Swami is
speaking to Swami now. I'm lazy, to be honest. Right? So my quick thing is, I can speak to Swami. I can drive when I'm driving alone, and I'll put something on, and emotions will pour. And I never get angry at Swami, but I'll get close to Swami by being emotional or thinking about him. I think my days of writing, I used to write them because I remember I told you a few days I even gave an empty piece of paper to Swami, that kind of stuff.
That's why I asked this question, because you wrote so many letters to Swami then.
and I remember recently when Sainath Sir came last year, I think it was, and he was saying that once in the interview room.
Last month.
Oh, no, sorry. Sai Sir from last year, sorry, when he came to the UK, he was saying that they were sitting in the interview room with Swami, like they did every day, that's what they used to do. One brother would massage Swami's feet, one brother would do Arati of Swami, one would do the coconut of Swami, and one would, open letters and that. Swami would open every letter. No, he'd tell Sai Sir to open the letter. And Swami said, before he's opening, Swami's saying that, look, everyone's complaining about something, asking about something. Who's asking about me, Swami saying? And that was a shock to me, saying, he's God, but he came down as a human form. He's still teaching us the way we should be, So for me, and I'd given everything, so I don't think I've wrote a letter for a long time, to be honest.
Okay. And what is your favorite Shiva bhajan?
Oh, Shiva bhajan. It used to be Nama Parvati. I used to sing that all the time. Then we have a bit of a joke. I know these might be quick firing ones, aren't they?
No, that's fine. If it's interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
So some of the brothers used to tease me, saying, "Ketan, you sing the same bhajan all the time." So then I went from Nama Parvati to Om Shivaya. I sing sometimes quite a bit, like Om Shivaya, Shivaya Nama. Because
you have to select one. Which one is?
One. Okay. I like Shivaya Nama because one, it obviously reminds you. I'm a very simple person. I need to know the meaning of stuff, and if I don't, I just sing just for the sake of it.
Without, yeah.
But it's also a bhajan that if I sang it, it doesn't matter who's in the room, they'll sing it. So we have home bhajans for 100th birthday every Sunday evening, and then every Tuesday evening, and we're trying to do 100 home bhajans ourselves within Leicester. And we have, generally it's our elders that go. So our average age is around 65, 70 plus, and then I come along when I can as well, try to bring the average age down a
Age
bit.
down. Yeah.
But if I sing things like them kind of simple bhajans, like simple Namwali bhajans, like Shiva Nama Shiva, then we all sing together, and it's a nice feeling.
Okay, can you sing few lines of that bhajan and then we'll close?
Okay. Shivaya Nama Shiva, Shivaya Nama Shiva, Shivaya Nama Om Nama Shivaya, Shivaya Nama Shiva, Shivaya Nama Shiva, Shivaya Nama Shiva, Shivaya Nama Shiva, Shivaya Nama Om Nama Shivaya, Shivaya Nama Om Nama Shivaya.
Thank you, Brother Ketan. Thank you so much. It was
Thank you.
lovely conversation. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Sister. Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Ram.
Hope this podcast has inspired you. Which story touched your heart? Please share your comments. Thank you for watching. Jai Sai Ram. Experience that, isn't it?